Sure.
No, that's CM Punk. No, Sean Ross Sapp is that CM Punk stuff has weight behind it.
Okay, cool.
But
We'll
I'm
keep
sure.
what I said before the show off the show, Reen. We won't mention it here. But listeners, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. I know no one's actually listening right now, but I'm in a good mood today. I had like such an odd week where it started off a bit shit, and now it's like tip top of the world.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you seem to really having fun on your private story yesterday.
Yeah, and I also got a letter from Jigsaw today. We raised
awesome.
We raised €1,416 and 72 cents. I thought it was only 1,200. Wow.
How much? 1,400?
Yeah.
What? Where the fuck did that 400 come from?
I know. We got to 1,200. I didn't know we got to 1,400. Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
I
feel like every time you say the number, it goes up. That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's just a thank you letter, and I think this is a mouse, Matt. I think.
That's so tiny. There's no way.
Maybe it's just it's a fridge magnet.
You're an idiot. There you go. Stick that on your little fridge or whatever.
My fridge is wooden, but thanks, Jigsaw.
Oh, wow. Okay, so send it back then, you ungrateful idiot.
But yeah, I stayed up to watch AEW last night. Very much enjoyed it.
Did you do your thing with Klong?
No, I was pretty tired. I had a long day. I worked and then I was on a date, so I was pretty tired. But yeah, I went to Dunleary, which is really nice.
Dunleary's so nice. That's where my college is, and I go there a bit more now. I'm like, the pier is so lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice. The view from the top of the where the Spider Spoons is really nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll take us through like we're just gonna talk, I think, because we just have so much to get through.
Yeah. Let's jump into it.
But yeah, you can start whenever you are ready, and we'll get going. And hopefully, there's a few people. It's been a while, so I'm really looking forward to this. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. A 1, a 2, a you know what to do. Hello, and welcome to the Hallway Wrestling Podcast. That's the loudest I've done it in a while. I'm your host, Kieran Brennan. With me, as always, my co-host,
the man that genetics forgot Ryan. Wow, haven't said that in a long time.
Yeah, well,
what felt like a long time.
Oh,
sorry for not being here. It's just been a crazy busy time at work and just other things. Unfortunately, we tried to get together, but it just didn't work. It didn't work last week.
We almost didn't this week as well. It was looking like it was going to happen for like an hour.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we did, because we've got like a shitload
of all the weeks. I feel like anytime we miss a week, it ends up being like massive, and it's like usually we just fumble through like a shit Raw episode or like a weaker AEW one or some shit. But then now we actually have a big week of wrestling to talk about. Loads happened, big shows.
Yep.
The energy on that, yep.
No, but I'm just looking at my computer, all the tabs open, being like, oh, holy shit, where do we start? But I think there's only one place to start. Actually, first of all, how are you, Kieran?
I'm so good. I'm in such a good mood. It's like, I think with the exception of WrestleMania and like that week or two of WrestleMania, this is the most excited I've been about wrestling in so fucking long. So it's just kind of got me in a good mood the past week, because it's been like, I know not every show is going to be like this in the future, but like even if the shows have made weird decisions, like, you know, Goldberg coming back, usually I'd be a bit like, oh geez, but just I'm so excited about him for some reason. I feel like such an idiot.
I'm excited for different reasons. Obviously, we're going to talk about the sad, like kind of the sad narrative that's gone on with NXT in a bit. Unfortunately, which is the bad news this week. Since we last spoke, NXT has sadly just seems to have been just buried by the main roster and like buried by Vince openly.
But I'm gonna put a positive spin on it, Rain. That's what I'm doing this week. Okay, you're not gonna ruin my mood.
I can't wait to hear that. But because there's not really your champion getting pinned on Raw. That's not very positive. But yeah, in 90 seconds. But yeah, it's like, for those who don't know, there's like a heat wave hitting Ireland, and it's very, very warm.
It's ending today. Literally yesterday was the last big day of it, and I was melting yesterday. I was in
Yeah, I'm
the
glad. I'm
Dundrum
gonna be looking
shopping
forward.
center. So fucking hot. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, it's too warm for me. It's nice at night and it's nice in the morning. Other than that, it's a bit warm for me. But yeah, I got a bit burnt, but it turns into tan. I'm lucky. I don't peel. It just turns into tan, which is not same can be said for some people.
I peel massively, but I wore a lot of sun cream yesterday. You know what's great, Rain? You know what's fucking fantastic as well? Should have mentioned this already. Got my vaccination appointment booked. Like I'm getting like the Pfizer one. So buzzed.
Dude, I got my vaccination booked Sunday, 9:20. I cannot wait. Let's go.
I think mine's next Wednesday. I'm fucking. Where's my phone gone? Oh, there it is. I'm so fucking buzzed. Oh, adrenaline.
As Toby said, adrenaline in our soul. Me and Toby and Domi are part of the Roadie Codes, Cody Rhodes fan club. The man, I got my Deb suit as well, and I was like marking out at how I look like I was about to go do an interview with Tony Schiavone, like Cody Rhodes.
I don't know. Fuck Debs, man. Who needs him? You know?
But yeah. But what before we start talking about Cody Rhodes, yeah, we're gonna get onto that. I cannot wait to talk about that. Holy shit, I ate Dynamite last night. But yeah, vaccinations. Just a quick message: if you're comparing not being able to dine indoors to Nazi Germany, get fucked. Get fucked.
Such a stupid thing to say. I don't know.
Get fucked. Read a history book. Not being able to dine indoors is not the same. Jesus Christ. The only Michal Martin as Hitler is a funny image in my head, but get fucked.
It's so like comparing the vaccination cert or whatever to the Star of David that the Jews had to wear in that time. The Jewish community had to wear in that time.
Fuck off!
Like what are people doing? It's so horrible.
Jesus Christ!
The Scott Nerd. Who's the Scott Nerd, Reen?
That's I believe that's Scott McLeod. It might be. Make yourself known. The only person I know who's Scottish is Scott McLeod from Rogue Opinions. Share Rogue Opinions. Going to be doing some content with them soon. But yeah. If you're not, then I apologize. But yeah, maybe that's someone who's agreeing with us. I think they're agreeing with us in terms of maybe he's not. They're agreeing with us that people are pricks if they are comparing the vaccinations to Nazi Germany, because fuck you and like tone deaf cunts. Sorry. Well,
it's so stupid. It's just like the dumbest thing in the world.
It makes me so angry. All of the fucking anti-vax shit and all the COVID. Oh, James. Oh, hello, James. Welcome.
Hello. Do you know James, or is this just like a genuine listener?
This might be just a genuine listener. Hello.
Oh my god.
Not a friend of the show who's actually listening. Thank you very much.
Crazy.
That's crazy. But yeah. Yeah, just Jesus Christ. I don't know what else I can say. I'd love to like just if it wasn't like if this was one of the regular like just okay weeks, we'd probably talk about this a lot more. But it's been a big week, so we should probably all right. Let's transition. Daniel fucking Bryan, your boy. Your first time. Nice. Enjoy. Stay. Daniel Bryan. So follow. Give us a follow on Twitch.
Give him like 10 minutes.
But yeah, Daniel Bryan. A lot of reports have come out that are suggesting that Daniel Bryan, whose contract ended in May, has signed a contract with All Elite Wrestling. Daniel Bryan has signed an All Elite Wrestling contract, reports body slams Cassidy Haynes. Haynes' source states that Bryan is locked into AEW, who's 100% signed the deal. He asked for a number of conditions in order to sign, including working a more relaxed schedule for comparable money, freedom to wrestle in Japan, and a degree of creative control regarding his character. Haynes notes that this creative control was consented to. As far as where Daniel Bryan's debut goes, a separate Body Slam report states that AEW have him plan on having him showing up on the promotion's Big Dynamite Grand Slam show in New York City. This goes down on September 22nd. The company had originally intended to wait until it's all-out pay-per-view before finalized before bringing Bryan in. Although yesterday's CM Punk news may have changed this. Bryan is effectively a free agent since the 30th of April, on which he lost a title versus career match. And as Toby puts in here, Kieran, before you're excited, if Tony Khan gets Final Countdown, I don't know if you know, but Daniel Bryan's indie team was Final Countdown. Holy fuck if that hits.
That would be lovely. That would be nice. He definitely fucking would as well. He seems good with that, like the Orange Cassidy theme. Thanks for the follow, James. Man, I don't like. I'm not massively into AEW, as you know, but I really want to see this. There's so many fantastic matches that could happen, and it seems like it will happen. But just like him, just going through a tear on AEW's entire roster would be so much fun.
Oh man, him versus Jungle Boy,
Darby
him ver-
Allen,
him versus
Kenny fucking
Darby Allin.
Omega, like come on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Oh,
my, Hangman, like a heel Daniel Bryan versus a babyface Hangman. That's how you fucking book that Hangman's first title feud needs to be a big one. Him versus Daniel Bryan. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I feel like that's the only way you could get Hangman booed though. It's Daniel fucking Bryan. I know he's a great heel, but come on. How can anyone boo that man?
Oh, oh yeah, I can't wait for the mandatory match against the Coaster. We'll talk about mandatory matches.
Oh fuck.
We'll talk about the mandatory matches against the Coaster later with Malachi Black, which we'll get Kieran's thoughts on. Which I'm liking it at the moment. I'm liking it. Has he ever faced Kenny Omega? I believe he has a Ring of Honor. Let me check. Let's do a check. But Kieran, thoughts and feelings on WWE just letting him go, and thoughts on, like, as you're talking about dream matches, just talk about what you think he could do in Japan, Indies, whatever.
I cannot imagine that like WWE would be at all okay with letting him go purely because like he is a main eventer. He just is, you know. I genuinely think this is one of the things where he's like, I have a couple of years left in me at maybe like this level of performing. I want to go around and face these people who I almost definitely am never going to in WWE, like an Okada or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
I think he's getting a lot of money in AEW or wherever he's going, but I don't think it's really what he's looking for, you know. I don't think there was any way WWE could have kept him.
100%. Daniel Bryan has wrestled the Kenny Omega in PWG, and it was kind of like comedy style match. So yeah, go and check that out, I guess. And it was Kenny Omega versus free on Ring of Honor Wrestling. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson versus Tyler Black, formerly known as Seth Rollins, in a triple threat.
Wow, that's such like an insane match when you think of it now. Wow.
Yeah, man, seeing what Mox can do, and went, yeah, I'll be having that. That's exactly what he did, because Moxley like continues to be the funnest thing to watch on TV, just because he's allowed, like, his promo last week with Lance Archer, Texas Braun, Texas Bred, you're Texas Dead, just fucking so good. He had an amazing match last night.
In terms of like people being held back in WWE and then being able to show what they can do on their own, he is the perfect example for it. He's the one who's benefited the most, I think.
Yep. But I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens. If it happens, it seems like it's on the way. Another person that's been slated for a return to wrestling.
Oh.
We've heard it a lot, but this is the first time where there's been some weight behind it. In what is some pretty huge news, it looks like we may finally get to CM Punk ring return that so many wrestling fans have been hoping for. As per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, who is probably the most reputable journalist like in wrestling. If he reports something, he's got a lot of inside knowledge, and he backs up his sources before he puts out anything out there. He has a track record. As per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the Second City Saint is reportedly signed it in talks over return to the ring. It's been over 7 years, but at this stage, there's no details on the promotion CM Punk has been talks with, but one has to imagine that every wrestling on the company on the planet would love to have Punk on their roster. But yeah, Sean Ross Sapp did indicate that AEW seems the most realistic destination, and certain WWE officials expect Punk to land in AEW. Kieran, your thoughts?
I mean, that's kind of like the easy guess, isn't it? I feel like AEW would make sense. I don't think it's going to happen. I know you're saying he's reputable. I can't really imagine Punk ever coming back. Neither do I particularly want him back, because I don't think he'd have it anymore. It's been so long. But fucking go for it, I guess. It would be crazy to have Punk and Bryan show up in AEW in the space of like a few months, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be insane. It's exciting time to be a wrestling fan. I love it. But yeah, I'm very, very, very looking forward to seeing what happens. But is there any other news that you have on your document there, Kieran, that you want to talk about?
John Cena's schedule has been fully announced.
Oh,
He's
so
back.
let me know. What the man that we can't see is going to be doing. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be doing something, but we can't see him. You know?
He's doing all the SmackDowns up until SummerSlam and all the Raws up until SummerSlam. No, he's doing two Raws up until SummerSlam. That's interesting. And he's doing a fuckload of super shows, which are just like house shows, which is so weird to me that they get him in for that. But it's a really it's a proper full-time schedule. He's making 15 appearances up until SummerSlam in the space of like a month, which is so much.
Yeah.
I we'll talk about this more when we talk about Money in the Bank. But I've said so much on this show that like I didn't think he was gonna come back purely because he has to market the Suicide Squad, which comes out this month.
Man,
and like
can't wait for him and Vin Diesel versus Roman and The Rock.
What a match! It's a dream match.
Because family.
Yeah.
But yeah. In some sad news,
no.
we'll take it down a peg. We're going to New Japan. I hope AW signed Mickey Gall so Punk can get his win back like Lesnar did with Velasquez. Yeah, Mickey Gall is the guy who Punk lost to in the UFC. Family, yes. Family.
Mistake me if I'm wrong, but didn't Punk, like the guy, one of the people who he fought, came back like one of the drug tests or whatever? He tested positive for something.
Yeah.
And now Punk has won that match technically.
Yeah, no, it's been turned into a no contest. He didn't win, but he also in that match, the guy who he fought, Mike Jackson, I think it was, got fired because he could have easily finished Punk, but he started taking the piss, and Dana White got really angry. But anyway. New Japan's Kota Ibushi has been out of action for the majority of the Summer Struggle Series, and it's now been reported that the former World Heavyweight Champion has been diagnosed with aspiration pneumonia. Sad news here.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay.
Now, recently it was reported that Ibushi was on the sidelines due to the effects of a COVID-19 vaccination. This has been debunked. Aspirational pneumonia has no links to COVID-19 or any vaccination. NJPW also revealed that Ibushi has not tested positive. This is kind of a really sad, because I've heard a lot of things about like pneumonia and how it long-term effects on you.
Yeah.
It could really, really, really fuck you up. So we wish Kota Ibushi the speediest of recoveries. One of the most exciting wrestlers in the world. Talking about putting your body on the line. That man embodies like putting your body on the line in wrestling to like scary extents. But let's just hope he's okay. Get well soon, because it's scary when someone's diagnosed with something like that, because it's not a short-term fix, it's a long-term thing. Your girl Toni Storm, Kieran, in better news, your girl Toni Storm is going to be debuting on Friday Night SmackDown.
Is she my girl? Have I gone on about her a lot?
You've got a photo with her.
I love that photo. I was so happy when I got that.
But yeah, Toni Storm's going to be working babyface on SmackDown apparently when she debuts.
But she doesn't suit babyface. She's been healing NXT, right? It's so weird.
Yeah, so
she
weird.
Does not suit it at all. It's so.
We'll talk about call-ups in a minute. I really want to fucking go in.
About how good they are, right?
Oh yeah, how good they are.
You're right, James. Toni Storm is she's really great, especially as a heel, which is why she should be a heel. Apparently Vince McMahon really likes her as well. Like he thinks she could be a star or some shit. So maybe she'll get a fair shot of it. But I feel like so many people from NXT, we hear like Vince loves this person, and then nothing ever happens. So we'll have to find out.
No, sorry, Toby. Dakota Kai's not champion yet. But Kieran, do you want to hear some Impact news?
Do I? Okay, this is rare. We rarely talk about Impact. Go on.
Because Impact's anniversary at the weekend, and it had a whole host of debuts. Aiden English was announced. Drama King Matt was announced as a. He's also. I like this comment. He's also going to be on commentary for NJPW in America. That's another one. We had Chelsea Green tag with her fiance, Mark Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, to team up against Deonna Purrazzo. And we had in the main event, we had Sami Callihan versus Kenny Omega for the Impact World title. And no surprise, Kenny Omega won. But afterwards, Jay White came out. Jay White had made his debut in Impact. He stared down the Bullet Club, Kenny Omega. He stared down Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, who won the tag titles, before brawling with Finlay and Juice Robinson. Now, some of White's, in the latest set of taping, some of White's intentions were made clear when he introduced Chris Bay into the Bullet Club. Because after Slammiversary, he's a former X Division champion. There was a Bullet Club T-shirt left in Chris Bay's locker room, and then at the tapings, Bay fought Juice Robinson in Impact, and then he accepted a Bullet Club shirt from White and gave it to Sweet, and then they had a tag match, White and Bay versus Juice Robinson and Finlay. So it's showing that there's a lot of cross promotion going on with a lot of the promotions. Like we got New Japan Stars and Impact, we got AEW, we have New Japan Impact and AEW Stars all on the same show. Then you add Kenny being the CMLL AAA Mega de Campeon. It's exciting, very exciting. So yeah, I wonder what are they going to do, like a Bullet Club kind of crossover where they're going to like Bullet Club and the Elite are going to feud. I hope that holds off until this Hangman story is finished, because it is my favorite thing in wrestling and probably my favorite thing in wrestling of all time that I've watched.
Oh, really? That's a big call. Wow.
Yep. I can't say for all things. We'll get on to it later. I just think it's so perfect. In news that broke last night, Velveteen Dream was announced for his indie show, and they turned off the comments on their Twitter post, thinking that they'd be able to if Hangman doesn't win, I'll be devastated. Velveteen Dream was released, and then he was, amid all of the allegations, everyone knows it, we don't need to go through them again. SWF Wrestling announced on Wednesday evening that Velveteen Dream will be making his appearance at their Home Sweet Home event, and they turned off the comments. They did. The internet wrestling community did not let them get away with it, and within 2 hours, he was pulled from the show.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't really. I think we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, no. If you're a wrestling company, don't try and pull the wool over people's eyes. We're not stupid. We will. If we have eyes, we will pretty much see right through your bullshit.
It's weird how wrestling, I feel like, has more of a reputation of being, like, from a very outsider's perspective, a much more of like a, I suppose, redneck Republican conservative type thing. But then the actual like community behind it, a lot of the time, will be very liberal or whatever. I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's not really into that point. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think we're finished with the news. We're gonna get on to some. We have a lot of wrestling to talk about, so I think we might get into that.
We talked about that thread, I think 2 weeks ago. Scott?
Yeah. That's why I just wanted to highlight that, because that's just and it's been continuing, and I cannot wait to talk about it. But Kieran, where do you want to go first? I think the best place to start is Money in the Bank, and our thoughts.
I was going to go SmackDown because that was the first show with a crowd.
We'll talk about SmackDown and we'll talk about Money in the Bank interspersedly.
Cool, because I don't know, because SmackDown was the first no crowd show, wasn't it? Way back in the Performance Center, so it was kind of nice. It was the first like show with a crowd. I don't know, just lovely. And fucking Balor's back. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Now this is something that I wanted to discuss with you, because you're obviously your boy. You have a lot of boys, but Finn Balor is probably
true, James.
Your big boy. That's pretty. I think he's wrong. But yeah, Kieran, Balor is back. I'm scared. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. But yeah, Finn Balor and his Schmeat in AK. Yeah, those abs in AK. What a man. But yeah, he took out Sami Zayn. If he has a feud with Sami Zayn, yes, please. Him versus Sami Zayn will be pretty cool. Sami is so good at just getting you to hate him, but like you still just want to see him. Yeah, he's just a great heel, and I don't know what Balor's doing, because that means Balor's a de facto babyface here. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna stop talking. What are your thoughts on this? And what do you want to see?
It's like the Tony Storm thing, where he just plays a heel a bit better, I think. But I'm just excited to see him back in the main roster. There's a lot of great matches he could have, and I hope they use him right. I kind of thought that they'd fucking throw him in Money in the Bank or some shit last minute and have him win it, but I guess not. I'm happy to see him doing something. I'm not going to fully judge it before we see how it goes. I do prefer him. I think I prefer his character as a heel, but they could very much just have him be like, you know, we love him, but he's not like happy, smiley Finn Balor.
Scott, you're completely wrong there. They protect their champions. Come on. Balor wasn't my favorite return on SmackDown. I mean, actually, she returned on NXT, but I still want to give her the fucking respect she deserves. because it seems like she's loved by absolutely everyone. She's been through a very hard time. Tegan Knox. She's now Knox, not Tegan Knox. Knox. But fucking hell is it great to see her back. 2 knee surgeries. She's back. She returned on NXT. Shotzi and Knox are a tag team. They might be common, but they fought Natalya and Tamina. But Kieran, how good is it to see Tegan Knox? Because every time I hear her speak, like when she's talking about Kane or when she's on like a WrestleMania watch along, she's just so fucking wholesome.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to see her back.
Well, that's it. It's like, I don't know. She's such I feel like a long story that's so easy to get behind because of her multiple injuries and like, I don't know. She's really great in the ring as well. I really hope she can, not become as injury prone as it seems she may be, and stick with it.
Speaking of great wholesome people, because he is one, but he's also a mad. I tweeted out Kevin Owens is a mad fucking bastard, and holy shit, that man is just insane. Like, what is he doing on a SmackDown? Just jumping through a ladder, jumping off a ladder, through a table. Like, the man just must have a fucked up back. But I just love Kevin Owens.
Yeah, no, he did a great job. It's a very Kevin Owens spot. I think he's done that a few times before. But I don't think ever on just a weekly show, which is crazy. Also, Shotzi Blackheart's been called up. I don't think you mentioned that. Yeah, with Tegan. That's awesome. You know me, I love a bit of Shotzi Blackheart. I think last time we were on, she hadn't been called up yet. I'm pretty sure.
No,
I can't remember.
She had returned to NXT, but now SmackDown has been good. The worst thing about it, sadly, is the Bianca Belair stuff.
Both women, well, the SmackDown one especially, it feels like what we've talked about before, where they have a really solid build to having a babyface champion win, and then have no idea what to do until they lose it, because they can't book a babyface champion. They just aren't able. And that kind of feels like what Bianca's gone through, and to a lesser extent, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, we'll get on to that.
Yes, we will.
But no, Kevin Owens jumping off ladder to end SmackDown. Edge and Roman Reigns, the 6-man ended with Reigns and the Usos winning. What do you think of this whole thing? The DUI with Jimmy Uso, and then him getting the obviously Money in the Bank, getting the tag titles. And obviously Naomi was quietly moved over to SmackDown, which is probably to be closer to her husband. He shouldn't have got the tag titles. This guy clearly needs help.
It's happened so many times. And it's one of those things where you just kind of don't want to talk about it because you feel bad and awkward. Like a lot of the Jeff Hardy stuff, a lot of his problems or whatever, but it's just happened so many times at this point.
Yeah, it's and it's sad that you can clearly see they're forcing him on TV for the purpose of a storyline. It's not going to do him any good. You don't need him there with Jay doing his thing.
I mean, they only had one Uso for like months, and it was one of the best storylines in the past. Like, well, it was probably the best storyline in the Thunderdome era or whatever.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of it when you hear about all the like the road accidents, like in terms of like and stuff like drunk driving and how like it's affected a lot of families. It's kind of distasteful and kind of tone deaf to kind of keep someone on there who like could have realistically really injured someone, and hasn't.
He's been so lucky that he hasn't.
Yeah, he's really fucking lucky he's not dead, if we're being brutally honest. If you're drinking while you're driving, you are putting yourself in serious harm.
You're putting other people in serious harm.
Yeah, right? you're putting everyone in danger. So I don't agree. Yeah, there it is. There's an example. Sorry to hear that Scott lost an uncle to a drunk driver. There's an example there, and I don't understand why they put the tag titles on them as well.
It's just happened so many times, and they don't seem to care. Now obviously we don't know what's gone on backstage and what's been said to him, if they're trying to help him at all. But it just,
I don't know if The Rock is. I think The Rock would fucking. I listen. I don't know, but I think The Rock would be fucking pissed off. Like The Rock seems like the kind of guy who would.
He seems like someone who would be like, if you messed up, you need to get punished for it within wrestling,
Yeah, but maybe it's. I understand what he's saying in terms of Vince, like Vince. Yeah, But yeah, Vince doesn't know anything about the outside world, and it's kind of shown. But SmackDown was really good. Raw for me, the high. Well, we'll talk Money in the Bank. I don't think we'll talk about it in full. But Kieran, Big E winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. Let's fucking go! I'm so happy.
Yeah, big move. I wonder when he's going to cash in and if he'll win it. That's like, I don't know. I felt pretty surprised by it. I obviously shouldn't have because I feel like he was the one everyone thought was going to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and they just didn't do that. So it makes sense that he'd win it. It was a very good match. It was really fun.
Yeah.
They're always great, though. It was a good movie. I really liked it.
And yeah, Kevin Owens had a quiet night. Nope, got powerbomb through a ladder. Jesus Christ, Kevin. That spot looked like it fucking hurt as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Really, really good Money in the Bank ladder match. The women's one was a bit messy. Great to see Nikki win.
I texted you being like, I don't think Nikki's gonna cash in. I think she'll be one of the people who, she cashes in and she doesn't win type thing. And then like fucking 4 hours later, she's the fucking champion or some shit. It was, oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't mind the superhero gimmick. I don't think she should have gotten it out of the people in that match.
Oh, no.
I never would have picked her as the winner, but
Please
fucking go for it, I guess.
Scott brings up a good point. I do think Big E's gonna have to move over to Raw. Because I don't think Roman's gonna lose anytime soon.
Yeah, but he has it for another year. Roman could lose it Survivor Series ish. Is he really gonna have the title for like an entire year, even more?
Yeah, they're gonna keep that, I think. But yeah, Big E, yeah, but the women's match was a bit messy, but Nikki winning was quite cool. The hypnotization stuff with Zelina Vega and Alexa Bliss, not my kind of thing. Just nah. Maybe it's someone else's thing. I don't know.
I don't mind it. I think it's fun. I don't care.
I knew you would have liked it. Me and Kieran have very different tastes. Kieran likes.
I really do. I'm a fucking idiot.
Weird shit. I don't like it.
I don't know. I take it a bit more easy. I'm just like, whatever. Fucking hypnotizer. Give me back.
I like realism in my professional wrestling.
So long. Ugh.
I like realism in my professional wrestling.
Yeah? You're a big fan of... I'm trying to think of some dumb AEW shit. What, like Darby Allin Skater Boy or some shit?
Darby Allin did a coffin drop through a fucking coffin last week. Like,
who saw that coming?
The man is... the man... That was a spot. He could have fucking put a fucking wooden board through his back. But yeah. Money in the Bank. Other than that, the Usos won the titles. Talk to me, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, Kieran. You said about Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. We might as well talk about it.
If you had just told me the result of this match, I'd be a lot more annoyed. But the match was really good. It was probably Rhea's best match in the main roster, I thought. And even the crowd weren't into it at first and then got into it as it went on.
Yep.
I don't like that they keep fucking giving Charlotte these title victories over other people just to fucking boost their numbers. And I get the idea was partially boost her number, but then also at least Rhea isn't losing to, Nikki Ash, and she's losing to Charlotte Flair. But it's still frustrating.
They are not they're not recognizing their NXT title wins either. That's another thing. But yeah, Kieran, Edge and Roman Reigns had a decent match. Went on a bit too long for my liking.
It was a very heavy, like there was a lot of shit in that. What would you call it?
Dragged out.
No, there's a specific like wrestling term for it.
Spot fest.
If I think of it, I'll tell you.
Yeah, like I don't want to do this, but
overbooked. It was overbooked.
Overbooked. Yeah.
There was a lot of shit in that match. There was like Seth fucking Rollins comes in, which I think you might have predicted. The Mysterios got involved. The Usos are there.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, but if you didn't see Seth Rollins versus Edge coming, like, come on, like it's.
I just didn't think it would be in that match. I don't know. I thought it was just
7 years in the making. Like,
yeah.
But like in WWE storytelling, they have like the promo packages made, like Rollins nearly killing Edge with the briefcase and shit. Like it writes itself. But yeah. Went on too long. Roman, acknowledge him, and then the music hit. The man is back. Taiwan is angry, but John Cena is back. Sorry, China's angry.
Did China not like John Cena? Like
Yeah, something
Chinese
about
government?
Taiwan and not being a country. Controversial.
Yeah,
Cena was.
I don't know enough about that to comment, so I'll keep my
Oh,
mouth shut.
no, it's turned into a meme, but Cena was in trouble with China, the entire country of China. My dog's whining. I don't know why. He's probably too warm. But yeah, Kieran, John Cena is back. He wants the belt. He threw a wristband at a girl and she just didn't catch it and hit her in the head. It was so
That's
funny.
funny.
It was so funny. But yeah, Kieran,
Massive
thoughts
pop.
about
Like
John Cena being back.
James says there, biggest pop since Rumble 08. Fucking fantastic. I love that he's back. I'm so happy about that. Like, I don't know. I feel like the match will be pretty solid. It'll be one of those like big matches, you know, like big fight feel things. I feel like Roman especially has really reached that level where it's just gonna be, yeah, big match. Jonathan, he's coming back. I'm really excited for it. I don't know why, because I can't imagine it'll be that great a match, but it's just gonna feel like a big match. Really, like this SummerSlam, like we were saying, I think they said a couple weeks ago they want to make it like WrestleMania. It's feeling like WrestleMania with that as the main event. That's a big
looking
main
forward
event.
to seeing what the stadium looks like. My dog's gone mental for John Cena. It might be my mother returning, but let's just say it's John Cena. But yeah, I've never really I don't know. It's weird. You know the way you have an opinion on a wrestler. I've never really had a great or a bad opinion on John Cena. I've just he's a part of wrestling, and that's I've never actually thought about what do I think of John Cena. I don't mind his match with AJ Styles were great. He's been hit and miss, obviously.
I came in as a fan in 2014, late 2013, and just as I was getting smarky, they started using him in really clever ways, like him losing to Brock Lesnar with all the Suplex City shit or whatever, you know. And I've kind of, as I've watched wrestling, I've just seen the great era John Cena that people have come to love, as opposed to the Cena sucks John Cena that I feel is also associated with him.
Yeah, I loved his promo on Raw. The whole, if you're good, you'll tell people. You'll tell people you're good. If you're great, the crowd will tell you that you're great, because that's the truth. In terms of anything, if you're a good podcaster, your views. If you're a good podcaster, you'll tell people about it. If you're a great podcaster, which we aren't, we tell people we're good because we're good. But if the great podcaster of the world, the views show it. And if you're on the top of Spotify list, that shows that you're a great podcaster. It's the same in music. Your views will show. It is just it's kind of like a simple kind of life kind of thing. Your results will determine how great you are, not what you say about yourself. And simple promo, but it really worked with the dynamic, because Roman is talking about acknowledging himself and just talking way too much and surrounding himself with yes men. It's great. I like it.
James saying there that the sad thing is they've already had the match. I don't know though. Oh, plug your podcast, by the way, James. Feel free. But it's such a different dynamic from Roman now, and it feels like the fans are so behind him now that it feels like that match when it happened did feel like a big deal, but this feels like a big deal, you know? To me at least. It feels like it's one of those massive matches that it feels like a dream match, even if we've seen it before.
There's a lot of matches coming up in wrestling that just feel huge. I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. Yeah, so we're talking about Raw, great promo. The bro stuff at Riddle was kind of funny. Cena likes to do quirky shit. Bro.
He's such a weird wrestler. He does whatever, doesn't he?
Yeah, listen. Well, yeah. It's so hard to talk about Matt Riddle. It really is.
I was talking about Cena.
Oh, Cena, yeah.
He'll just do whatever. He doesn't give a shit.
Cena just, yeah. Right, we'll go on to Bobby Lashley before we move on to the bad stuff with NXT. Bobby Lashley's open challenge was the return of a long-awaited man who hasn't been on TV in a while. Keith Lee. Everyone loves Keith Lee. Keith Lee is a legend. He's fantastic. He's so good. But he got beat quite convincingly, which is sad.
Hey, it was a pretty solid match, I thought. And it is the actual fucking champion, so
yeah,
it's not like he's coming up and fighting Breezango or some shit and losing. He's facing the champion. I wouldn't call it like a burial or anything.
No, but it was good to see him back because everyone was scared of where he was. Like if he was gone or if he was like hurt. So yeah, no, it's good to see him back. He was very thankful on Twitter, as was Mia Yim. So Bobby Lashley was able to win and then celebrate in the ring with MVP, and then all of a sudden, dun, and Mr. Bill William Goldberg came out. Yeah.
Awesome. I know you won't like it, but I'm just like, in a good mood because crowds are there, and I'm just like, oh, Goldberg's back. I don't know who the fuck's gonna win though. I'm sure if Goldberg wins at SummerSlam, I won't be as happy.
Yeah. If Goldberg wins and Biggie cashes in on, fucking fine with that.
Yeah, I could go for that. Yeah,
I could go for that. Universe Era podcast. We started at Vengeance 07. Oh shit! So you're like going back and reviewing shit. Yeah, that's been something that like I've always like had in the back of my mind to do, but it's just so much work. So fair play for doing that. Fuck. The man of the hour, the king of the ring, intelligence and power. Love it. But yeah, go check out Scott's podcast there. People who go back and watch stuff from the start, it's a lot of work. So go check it out. But yeah, Goldberg said he's next. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to think of it because Goldberg's track record of returning for like his 3-match a year contract, they haven't been great.
It feels like every time it happens, it's like he comes back, has a shit match, and then he comes back again because he's something to prove, and then has a great match. But then the next time he comes back, he's another shit one, so he has to come back again. It's like this weird cycle he has.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let's hope it's closer to Brock Lesnar than it is to Undertaker. But yeah. Now, Kieran, we've got to talk about the negatives. Karrion Kross versus Jeff Hardy went 90 seconds.
That's insane. Fucking Jeff Hardy. I cannot believe that.
When you hear NXT champion Karrion Kross has been in a match with 90 seconds against Jeff Hardy on Raw, I would, if I hadn't heard the result, as you used that earlier, I would have bet fucking all my money on Karrion Kross being that winner. We're not slandering Jeff Hardy here. Like, I like Jeff Hardy, and he has the no more words.
Slander if it's true.
The no more words team is back, which is cool. But Jesus Christ, the fella's the NXT champion, and he got fucking like rolled up on Raw, and then just all of a sudden these news stories are coming out about Vince. Like Triple H is pissed off. Vince doesn't recognize NXT is most definitely a developmental brand as opposed to the third brand that they've been pushing since. Vince's trip to the Performance Center clearly didn't go fucking well. Someone sneezing his coffee or something. They're offering him.
I mean, I guess like the second they pulled like NXT from Wednesdays to it's Tuesdays right now or Fridays.
Yeah,
I can't remember. No, Friday to SmackDown. So it must be Tuesday. I guess now they're just like, well, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I bury them all.
Like, no offense. Like, I may be back. Like, no offense, but like, I'm just saying, NXT, apart from a few things every couple of months, hasn't been good. Like, it just hasn't hit with. It just hasn't hit with me like it used to. I know we're getting spoiler. Give you 5 seconds.
Spoiler for what? Hang on, be clear on what you're spoiling before you do it.
The main event for the next takeover.
Okay, spoilers.
We're getting Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross for the NXT title. That's cool. Okay,
that's fantastic. I cannot believe they've already had Samoa Joe in the fucking ring. It's already happening.
They've taped a couple of shows, and Samoa Joe. Obviously, we saw it from this week. It was written in the stars. Samoa Joe Regal was attacked this week. But like, how am I meant to believe that Karrion Kross, after attacking Regal on SmackDown, the night after he was jobbed out to Jeff Hardy, NXT is just it annoys me because there's a lot of wrestlers on there that I like. Like, there is a lot of wrestlers on there that I like, but it gets buried, and then the booking hasn't been great. But yeah, I don't know, Kieran. You can take. What do you think of this?
I just fucking stupid. I don't know why anyone thought this is a good idea. Like, he's a champion. I get that they want Jeff Hardy to be a big deal, but it doesn't work like that. It's
Yeah.
like even if he's not just a regular champion, he's supposed to be a really dominant champion. He's supposed to be this monster who you can't beat. You know,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
no, 90
Yeah.
seconds. Jeff Hardy, fuck me dead.
Yeah. No thanks. But yeah, wasn't Triple H out of the loop when Vince fired Samoa Joe? Yeah, Vince doesn't care what Triple H thinks. Like from what I can see right now, like Vince and Triple H are on completely different pages in terms of NXT because Triple H recognizes it as a third brand and is pushing it as a third brand.
It's
Vince
Triple
doesn't-
H's brand, you know. It's
Yeah,
like
Vince.
it's his baby.
I feel like I don't feel bad for him. He's fucking like a millionaire and all that sort of. But like the thing that he's built up is just getting buried under his nose, and Vince is just picking all the people. Like imagine bringing someone's champion up to Raw and jobbing them out in 90 seconds, and then giving them back to him and going, "There's your champion for your next takeover feud. He's a shit wrestler now." I was like,
Like what the fuck?
It's
Way to
so
bury
funny.
this great Samoa Joe feud or whatever. What do
That's
you
like when you're a
oh.
child and you borrow someone's like toy and you bring it back broken. It's like you bring back your friend's like Transformer toy and it's got no leg on anymore. Karrion Kross is a legless Transformer. But yeah, like Jesus Christ. Oh shit. Kieran, talk to me about the main event. The Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. I'll chill before I go through AEW, but what did you think of this main event and the angle afterwards?
I mean, I don't really buy Nikki as champion. I don't know how that's gonna work at all.
You've heard why it's happened though.
No, why has it happened?
Like, let's give Nikki Cross credit. She saw a gap in the market and she went to Vince with this. No, she went
to a business school, me gap in the market.
Yeah, I didn't actually mean to do that, but that's like literally the first line of our business definitions. But yeah, shout out to Leaving Cert, shout out Miss O'Byrne, Leaving Cert Business. But yeah, like she brought an idea to Vince that sells a lot of merch and brings the kids to the show.
I mean, superheroes are in. Like, to be fair,
and with the tours coming back, that's exactly what Vince wants. Nikki was very smart. It's great to see that Damo, who was fired, was really happy for her because they're like it was great to see like him on Twitter being so happy for his wife. She fucking like she went out. She didn't like pitch something that like sadly like we want people to pitch cool shit, but she pitched something that Vince thought would get over. And fair play to her. She's a champion now. And honestly, let's see what she can do with it. I know it may be strange.
You are so much more open to this than so much of the other shit WWE's put in front of you. They've done. There's been some very dodgy ideas in WWE that you've been like very anti or whatever before they get going, and this is the fucking one where you're like, no, let's see where it's going, guys.
No, because I'm not saying I'm gonna watch it every week because I don't watch Raw. I watch Raw in YouTube clips. I'll be like I don't have time to watch all the shows. But like you get where I'm coming from. Like
I get it. Yeah, it's very clearly supposed to be an angle for younger kids, not like
you have
early
to play
20s smarks.
You have to play the game. Aleister Black coming with all these like crazy promos to Vince. They're cool and all, but they're not gonna fucking get over with a crowd that's like 10 years old. They don't even know what he's saying half the words. Like Nikki went with a gimmick that works, and she fucking got rewarded for it. Like you have to play. Sadly, it looks like if you want to succeed in WWE, you have to play the game, and that game is selling merchandise and making money for Vince McMahon.
I wonder if her merch sales are like much better than we might think.
Oh no! The next round of like merch is definitely going to be full of like ASH or like superhero. You can be anything you want to be.
Yeah, you can buy the masks or something. Definitely.
Yeah, or something like like believe in yourself. Shit, like just it is like it's that like. If Nikki can get kids' interest, that is super important. That's why Cena was the reason top guy for years. Kids are the most important market. It is for WWE. Kids are the most important market.
We often forget, but it's a fucking wrestling is to an extent a kids program, especially Raw, SmackDown. I know we like to pretend that we're big gritty adults and we like rock and roll themes for our wrestlers.
Well, WWE for sure. Like
Yeah.
AEW has
Oh,
openly,
AEW is different. Yeah.
yeah, that they have their market. WWE has their market, and that's why maybe NXT is struggling, because when they were in Full Sail, they didn't really need to conform to the WWE stuff.
No, it was very much the alternative to the main roster stuff.
Yeah, but now it's kind of got to be, yeah. So enough shitting on NXT, but that's why Nikki can be for little girls like Ray was. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like Rey Mysterio again. Like the whole like she can come out with like 2 pairs of goggles on and take one pair off and give them to a kid like Rey Mysterio did with his mask, and like shit like that. Like it you get me, Kieran?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I have people in the chat who agree. It may not we may not like it, but we're not 10 years old, unfortunately. But yeah. So Nikki Ash is the champion. Listen, she seems very lovely. So
as a person, I'm sure she's amazing. Yeah, I've no doubt about it. She seems
go run with it. Go run with the ball and see what happens.
I still can't believe though that of everyone in Insanity, her character has changed so much. You know, it was just Sanity. It wasn't Insanity. Sorry.
Yeah, that you're talking about the like minds of people who aren't 10 years old when they watch Raw and SmackDown going insane. Kieran's still got the after effects of watching Raw and SmackDown. But yeah, let's move on and talk AEW. I've been wanting to do this for a bit. Kieran, where do we fucking start?
I don't know.
Andrade Alidolo. Let's start with. I'm going to go through the last couple of shows in terms of different characters, right?
Let's talk about Malachi. Malachi.
Okay, Black. Sorry. Yeah, that's sorry. So Cody Rhodes came out a few weeks ago, and the first show back, Miami. By the way, the crowds have been hot. They're all right-wing crazy cunts, but fair play. He's making.
We need to stop giving AEW the reference like the AEW is full of right-wing insane people because it doesn't seem like they are.
No, Kieran, they went to Miami and Texas. That's not AEW. They went to Miami and Texas. Two of the biggest Trump countries. Two of the biggest Trump countries in the world. Now, she could be like Bayley was in NXT. Great example. Yeah. So, Cody Rhodes came out to cut. Sorry, Arn Anderson came out to cut a promo after Cody Rhodes beat QT in a South Beach strap match, and Arn Anderson was like, "It's great to be here," and all this sort of stuff. Lights go out. Everyone's like, "Oh." Lights come back on. And it's Aleister Black, adrenaline. It's Aleister Black. He spin kicks the Black Masses the fuck out of Arn Anderson, who sells it amazingly. Cody sprints into the ring. Malachi Black stares at him, smiles, and this segment is over. The last week in Texas, Cody comes out on the commentary and grabs the mic and says, "Listen, you can beat me up all you want, but beating up an old man like Arn Anderson, that's not on. Come out here and face me like a man." Malachi Black comes on the screen, cuts a very good promo about letting a dead horse down when when the horse goes lame or has a sore leg, you need to let it down. Cody was like, "Come out and fight me," and Malachi Black was like, "Yeah, I'll fight you." And the lights go down. He comes out, and they brawl, and they are set to fight next week on Fight for the Fallen. The Dynamite special, Fight for the Fallen, Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. Thoughts, Kieran? I
feel like when you sign a contract with AEW, you have within the contract, you have to make an appearance on Talk is Jericho, and your first feud has to be against Cody Rhodes. Those are the two things that you have to do. And it's part of me hates it because, there's a decent chance Cody's going to win, which is terrifying.
I think
it does add some genuine tension to the match, I guess.
I think Malachi Black's going to win. I think
it's Cody Rhodes. Who knows? He's insane. He's lost his mind since starting AEW. So who fucking knows?
He spin kicked Coaster as well, by the way, which is good. He actually connected with him as well. The Slow-Mo connected with him. Kieran, if you want a fast track guy to being a star, I have a feeling. Unfortunately, with the Agogo stuff, he wasn't one of their big new signings. He's obviously gone to. He might not be able to wrestle now, by the way. So hope Agogo. He had to go back to the UK to have eye surgery. Let's hope he's all right. But Aleister Black is going to win this match. I'm fully in the belief that they are putting the eggs in the Alistair Black basket, letting him run with it. Sorry, Malachi Black. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad it's on Five of the Fallen and they're not dragging out all out. I'm very glad about that. That's going to be cool. But yeah, let's see what happens. They weren't on TV this week, which is good. There was no mention of Alistair Black or Cody Rhodes or Malachi Black. It was just that they have a cool graphic where Malachi Black is in black and Cody Rhodes is in white. It's the black versus white thing.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I saw that like on Twitter, like, oh, it's so genius that Malachi Black is dressed in black and
yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not thinking of it like that. I'm not thinking of it like that, but like, Cody Rhodes.
Oh, like some AEW fans are insane. Like there's some proper like people who really look too deep into it sometimes.
Stan culture in general.
Yeah, very true.
Tommy is going to kick the tattoo off Codeman's neck to send him out on paternity leave. Yes, please. But yeah, very much looking forward to that. Right, Andrade El Idolo here. Andrade has beaten Matt Sydal. He then, in a promo, said, "I'm looking for Death Triangle." That was very interesting. He came out and said, "I'm looking for Death Triangle," and he hinted that he's not going to be alone. So he came out in the ring for an interview, and all of a sudden he introduced his new assistant or a new manager. Chavo Guerrero is now in AEW, and he is Andrade's manager. They called out Death Triangle, and Death Triangle, Pac, Penta, and Phoenix came out. Andrade tried to sow the seeds of dissent by saying that like Pac doesn't have the best interest of Death Triangle at heart. Penta and Phoenix should join him. They said no, and they tried to brawl, but the rest broke it up. So it looks like we're building to Andrade and whoever he brings in, maybe some of his boys from AAA versus the Death Triangle, and I'm looking forward to that because 4 amazing wrestlers there, add 2 more, and Chavo as his manager, the man. Chavo is like, he'll bring in casuals. Kerwin White is there. But yeah, Kieran, I'm very much looking forward to this feud because Andrade is fantastic, and so is Pac, Penta, and Phoenix.
Yeah, no, fucking go for it. Maybe I'll give it a watch.
Yeah.
When is Fight for the Fallen?
Fight for the Fallen is next week.
Cool.
And then Jericho, I don't know if you've heard, but Jericho wants to match with MJF. And MJF, like the Cody match, if you remember the Cody feud, laid out with stipulations. And they've called it the 5 Labors of Jericho, like Greek mythology here.
Okay, sure.
So
what are they?
Sorry?
What are they? What are the stipulations?
Jericho has to have 5 fights. And if he wins them all, then he gets MJF it all out. And the first one that they announced last week was Jericho versus Shawn Spears, the chairman. And Shawn Spears can use a chair, but Jericho can't. And last night it went down. It was the opening match. And Jericho inadvertently threw Spears into a chair that he had set up and won with the Judas effect after Sammy Guevara took out Tully Blanchard. LAX and FTR are also in a feud, which is fantastic. They're talking about how they were both poor, but they're from different areas of the like LAX, like North Carolina versus New York. It's really fucking good. This Inner Circle feuds, like the way they've split off. Remember I was telling you the way they've splintered off into these individual feuds. It creates 5 feuds, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on. But yeah, so I'm getting to that because it was insane. So Jericho wins with the Judas effect, and MJF comes out and cuts a promo saying, "You cheated, Chris. You cheat. You can't be cheating, you bastard. You like to bend the rules? Well, then let's bend the rules. Next week it's a no DQ match, and your opponent is MDK, Nick fucking Gage. Don't know if you know Nick Gage, Kieran.
Don't. Sorry.
Well, Kieran isn't big on the indie wrestling, but Kieran, as you can see in the chat, Nick Gage is over as fuck. This man is a deathmatch fucking legend. This man has like
he fucking
so many insane matches, and it's a no DQ match next week. He is fantastic. He got an unbelievable reaction, like a huge pop, and it's going to be Jericho versus Nick Gage next week in a. He once robbed the bank with no mask. Is what they. Yeah, he is the literal god of the deathmatch. There was a dark side of the ring about him, Kieran.
Oh no! Okay, well that's how you know.
Yeah, because of all the death matches he's had. Jericho versus Nick Gage. The second labor of Jericho is Nick Gage, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Frankie Kazarian beat Doc Gallows. Frankie Kazarian's Elite Hunter gimmick is ramping up. Oh, sorry, Doc Gallows won that match. Frankie Kazarian is trying to get revenge on the Elite for costing Christopher Daniels his career. So that's a cool little sub feud. Darby Allin got a win after winning the coffin match. He beat Wheeler Utah, who's he nearly killed David Arquette. Do you remember that David Arquette spot that where David Arquette bled too much?
Yeah.
And ended up in hospital. That was a match against Nick Gage. But Nick Gage, is not like he's not like a. He's not like he didn't mean to do it, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just for context. Britt Baker is just fantastic. She actually did a promo with the I don't know about him, but before the show, he did a promo with the evil guy from Cobra Kai, the villain from Cobra Kai.
Oh, people fucking love Cobra Kai.
Yeah. You should look that up. You'd probably know more about it than I would. But now, Kieran, let's talk about my favorite thing in wrestling: Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page. So, Kieran, the last time we left it, Kenny Omega had said the Hangman Page doesn't have the balls to come out and face him. So last week, 2 weeks ago, how did it go down again? Because it's been a while. A couple of weeks ago, Kenny Omega was cutting a promo in the ring and kind of saying that there's no one left for him to fight, right? There's no one left, so he's going to go and defend his belt elsewhere. You can see us elsewhere, referencing Impact. Evil Uno comes out and says, "Why won't you fight the number one contender? Why won't you fight my best friend?" And I just love this. I love the way the Dark Order are just in his corner fully. It's so good. Kenny goes, "You have a lot of questions, Evil Uno. Let me ask you a question. What's the capital of Thailand?" And he kicks him in the balls and goes, "It's Bangkok, bitch." And the entire Dark Order come out. The entire Kenny. Man, that's what the reaction they need. Kenny looks like a dickhead with the facial hair. He's acting like a dickhead because he's just in his gimmick is he's an insufferable, arrogant dickhead.
Genius writing.
No, it's not writing. It's just Kenny.
I get it.
It's Kenny being Kenny. But then, so all of a sudden he gets kicked in the ball. The Dark Order come out, the Dark Order, and then the Dark Order and the Elite are brawling, and for the first time, that music hits. We'll get on. Yeah, it is next week. That's what we're building up to. The Hangman's music hits, Kieran, and holy shit, the pop. That's where you got them all. Where this is fucking on. Hangman comes out, beats the crap out of all the Elite, and has Kenny in his sights for the buckshot lariat, but he stops and he gets in the ring and they go face to face, and you can see the look in Hangman's eyes where he was just very reluctant to hit the buckshot lariat, and that's how the segment. He gets distracted by the Elite and Kenny escapes. So the following week, Hangman comes out for an interview with Tony Schiavone, but then the Elite come out and Matt Jackson gets in his face and says the Hangman Page breath smells of alcohol. He's going to be the next great wrestling tragedy. And Hangman goes head to head, and Matt's like, "You're not going to punch me, are you?" And Hangman, duly obliged, punches him in the face. The Dark Order come out and even the odds. And Hangman gets on the mic for the first time in this feud and says, "Kenny, I'm not leaving without a match tonight." Whoa. And the intensity and the hype in the building is just insane. The crowd is insane. Hangman is the most over I've seen a wrestler in a long time. And
Becky Lynch level?
Oh, it's pretty insane, man. It's wow. Crazy. It's pretty the pop for Ricky Starks winning the FTW title off Brian Cage was pretty insane as well. But Hangman says, "I'm not leaving without a match," and Kenny says, "All right, okay, I'll give you a match, but I'm going to do you one better. How about you bring along the Goon Squad? You bring along the Goon Squad, and I'll bring the Elite 5-on-5 and if you win, I'll give you a shot at the title. And Hangman gets on the mic and goes, I know actually Kenny doesn't reference that he gets a shot at the title, but Hangman gets on the mic and goes, right, if that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do. It's not the match I was looking for, but if that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do. But if we win this match, 5-on-5 elimination, I get a shot at your world title. But not only that, these boys get a shot at your tag titles, and the crowd just fucking erupt. If they win, the Dark Order get a shot at the Young Bucks for the tag titles. So next week, and then they brawl, and then this week, basically, Hangman just Kenny came out, cut a dickhead promo. After Frankie's arm was getting beat up. And then the Dark Order came out and made the save. And then Hangman came out. They beat up Carl Anderson. And Hangman hit the buckshot lariat. And basically next week, 5-on-5, it's Kenny and the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers versus Hangman, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. And man, I cannot wait.
Big match.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen is what has to happen. The 10-man tag is next week on Fight for the Fallen. I think Hangman is going to get taken out by Kenny, but with like a chair because Kenny trusts his boys. They shouldn't touch until, or Hangman's going to get taken out. I don't think they should touch. I just don't think. Oh yeah, sorry. I made a mistake. The story was that Hangman will get a shot anyway because he's ranked number 1. But if they lose the match, Hangman loses his shot. If they win, Dark Order gets both. That makes sense. And Kenny, that's because Kenny cut a great promo where he was like, you can just walk away. You can go home with talk to your parents, tell your parents about your wins and losses, reference to the ranking system, but you can walk away because you don't want to fight me. Getting inside is the mental health aspect of this storyline. Just being like, you can walk away and be happy. But Hangman is just not doing that. And I think he's going to get taken out. And I think the Dark Order are going to win it for him. I think John Silver or someone is going to win it for him, or maybe Evil Uno. And the crowd pop is going to be insane. And Kieran, we are building to All Out where Hangman Page will kick out the Woman Angel and will become AEW World Champion.
How long have you been saying that now?
Am I wrong? No.
I mean, we'll find out, I guess. It would be so fucking funny if you were wrong. I don't think you will be. I think you've convinced me of it. Because, look, the reason I've been quiet for James, by the way, and Toby, if you haven't watched this before, I don't fucking really watch AEW, so I don't really know what's going on. So I kind of let Reen take these over. But he's been on about, Hangman kicking out of the One Winged Angel for a solid year now.
Yeah, no,
you've convinced me it's just gonna happen.
Toby will back me up on this because I know Toby follows it a good bit. I'm sure if James watches it as well. This story is just so deep. It's an 18 months deep. It's the only way it ends is when Hangman wins. It's the triumphant story. It's just really tastefully done story about mental health and how just read that Twitter thread. It's just insane. The pop in that stadium. If I would love to be in that stadium because holy shit, the roof is going to blow off the place. They have built this guy up from being Roman Reigns, from being remember when he fought Jericho, Kieran, and everyone was like, why the fuck is he in this match?
Yeah.
That's when the feud started. That's when this started. Because if you remember, the Young Bucks refused to be in his corner for the Jericho match. That's how long it's been, and maybe the pandemic delayed it, but I think it's done it for the better because Hangman
built the crowd there.
Yeah, building himself back up, and just Kieran, go on YouTube and just on AEW the Hangman segments, just watch them because you'll get gripped straight away. Genuinely, it's it's so good, and they just continue this next week. I'm a mark for John Silver, I think, but this is since AEW started, yeah. But Hangman and John Silver are known as good buddies. I think John Silver has to be the final survivor. I think John Silver has to win that for the lads. I really cannot wait for this match next week. They know how to get us invested. But again, sorry, I've just spoken about that. But Britt Baker defended her women's title against Nyla Rose. She's over as fuck. And then in the main event, Kieran, John Moxley versus Lance Archer for the IWGP US title in a Texas death match, where it's basically a last man standing death match. Fantastic. Archer got absolutely huge reaction from his hometown. There was thumbtacks. Moxley coming out to Wild Thing in the crowd, Kieran. It's an amazing entrance. Archer chokeslam Moxley onto the edges of two chairs, when you put the chairs back to back.
Yeah.
And then Lance Archer chokeslam Kenny from the apron into barbed wire tables to win the belt, the 10 count. John Moxley has been defeated, and Lance Archer is the IWGP United States champion. Huge reaction. And New Japan Wrestling and Bullet Club's Hikuleo, who is related to Roman Reigns, challenged Archer, confronted Archer. So Bullet Club's Hikuleo confronted Lance Archer, and they're having a match for the IWGP US title next week on Dynamite.
Wow.
But yeah, John Silver has been amazing since the Brotherly Tribute Show. Fact about it, that's correct. I love John Silver. It's going to be the emotion is going to. The Brody Lee stuff has also contributed to it. Johnny Hungy is going to roll up Kenny for the win and pin one of the Bucks with Brody's lariat all out. Man, that would be insane. Man, I'm getting goosebumps just reading that sentence. If John Silver rolls up Kenny and then wins it all out, the reaction. I don't think we'll hear a crowd reaction like Hangman winning. I don't think we would have heard it for a long time. I really hope they book. We've talked about babyface title runs not being great. After he wins the belt, that's another question. Hopefully he can have a good feud, but it just has to be done. This all out has to end with Hangman as a champion and Dark Order as the tag champs. It would be insane. The card for All Out is building to be. We've got the Mexican, the Andrade and the Death Triangle stuff. We've got Kenny and Hangman. We've got the tag match. John Moxley's going to be involved in something. We got MJF and Jericho. Man, AEW, Kieran, if there's a time to get into it, it's now, because Jesus, they're building to an amazing pay-per-view in front of fans as well. But man, I'm just honestly, I enjoy watching it every week. I pay for it. I pay €5 a month for Fight TV because I'm so invested in Toby, who I same as yourself, Kieran. I think Toby can. I remember Toby's been quite out of the loop at WWE, and before AEW probably would have been kind of lapsed as well from the conversations. But AEW is just, it gets you invested. They do these 10-minute previews on the Tuesday night for the following night's show. They did a preview for Jericho and Spears and stuff, and just watching that just gets you so invested. It's just simple things that get you invested. The character work is very, very good. I hate to go on about it, but man, I'm just so much more invested in it than anything else in wrestling. So yeah, no, very, very, very much looking forward to Fight for the Fallen next week.
That about does it for us, does it?
Yeah, AEW has been amazing, and it's restarted my love for wrestling.
Wow, powerful. There you go. It is great to see so many lapsed fans get in on it, and come back.
Yeah, and if Daniel Bryan comes out the Final Countdown in New York, Arthur Ashe Stadium, that tennis stadium looks insane. If Eddie Kingston wins the title there, that'd be insane as well. Miro and Miro has a new belt. Miro's TNT title is now Bulgarian colors. That's cool. He's doing some good stuff. But yeah, we have had a really good show this week. But Kieran, I think it's time to take it home.
Yeah.
I need to
thanks for fucking sticking around, James and Toby.
Yeah,
nice.
James and Toby, thanks a million.
Just James, fucking if you do want to come back and watch more, our schedule is all fucking over the place. So keep an eye on our Twitter just to be sure.
Yeah,
I feel like regularly we end up changing the day of week we record on without even discussing it amongst ourselves. It just kind of happens. Idiots. We're usually Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays or Mondays.
Yeah. Listen, it's just been all over the place. It's very hard to nail down a proper schedule. I think when you're like a lot of people who do podcasts, it's tough because they're full-time jobs. A lot of people are in a way, it's very easy to nail down a regular schedule because you're doing a full-time job and you've got your time when you're free every week. But for us, we're just all over the place because when you're part-time in work, you'd never know when a shift's going to come. But yeah, 100%. But yeah, Holloway Grabs Pod on Twitter. Follow us there, and we'll plug your podcast and like we'll wrestling community helps itself out. Yeah, Toby, I think we're going to be me and Domi, who's a regular listener of the show, watched Dynamite in Discord last night. I think there's going to be a few of us in Discord next week with watching Dynamite because oh my god, I cannot wait for that main event. But yeah, Kieran, have you got any recommendations? It's been a while, so has any recommendations? Has anything you've been watching?
Black Widow came out. I saw Black Widow. That was pretty good. I went to the cinema and saw that. Like it's been like so long since a Marvel movie came out, and it was a lot of fun. It's pretty good. It's not great, like because Loki came out as well, and I binged all of that in once, and that was probably better. I don't know. I'm conflicted on Loki, but Loki's worth a shot. Just all the Marvel stuff is pretty good. I've kind of had a chill couple of weeks about watching and reading shit. So there's a new Emilia Clarke comic that came out, Mom, Mother of Madness. I bought it yesterday. I haven't read it, but it looks really nice visually, the cover. So hopefully that's good. Anyway, anything from you?
Yeah, the recent podcast I did was I mean, we know if you're a YouTube fan, you know these two guys, you know they used to hate each other. KSI and Logan. KSI was on Logan Paul's podcast. It was hosted in England. Logan Paul came over to do some work with KSI. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting chat about kind of two guys who are like kind of like the biggest stars in YouTube on different sides of the pond, and how like and just really interesting chat about just everything in general. Check it out. It's really, really good because I really like Logan. Like
you really do. I feel like you talk about him every week.
No, we've discussed this before. Like people
his redemption and everything. It's very interesting.
No, it's just it's. I really do enjoy that. The fact that like I'm a like you should never hold grudges for a long time, and if someone is accountable for their actions, then they deserve a second chance. And he's really, really, really taking the opportunity to improve himself, and he's done some really cool stuff. I mean, he fought Floyd Mayweather and got a punched him in the head, which is something that not many people can say. Really interesting chat because they used to obviously hate each other and they fought each other. So yeah, I listened to that. That was really good. Anything else for me? No, not really. Again, same as you. I'm just kind of like a YouTube binge watcher. That Rate My Takeaway guy, if he's been infiltrating your recommendations. You know the guy, the English guy, have you seen that, Kieran? The guy who like yeah, man, that guy, like that's a binge watch and a half. Like, Jesus. Fair play to him, like fair play. Like this like middle-aged English guy with a table and chair gets like 200k views.
I'm so hungry though after watching any of that. Anytime I watch anything to do with food. I've been listening to the Auntie Donna podcast, which is like an Australian comedy podcast, and they for ages have had a reoccurring joke of loving Domino's, and they keep talking about Domino's, and it's just made me eat so much Domino's lately. Oh, see you later, Toby.
See you later, Toby. I'll talk to you soon. But yeah, Kieran, I think it's time to take it home on this beautiful sunny day.
Yes.
Talk to you soon. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully we're back. We'll definitely be back next week. Love, peace, and boobies. Love, peace, and boobies.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, no, Kieran, take us home before I.
Jeez, well, yeah. This has been the Hollerson podcast. I've been your host, Kieran Brennan. With me, as always, my co-host.
The man of genetics forgot Rian. Sorry, Scott's message came in as I was saying that. The next one, thanks, Scott. The man of genetics forgot Rian. I have been him.
And as we say at the end of every episode of the Hollerson podcast, get vaccinated, please.
Cowboy shit. Cowboy shit.